Morning, everyone. So last year, my colleague presented here, and he presented for a good few minutes on how to pronounce TUI. I'm hoping the majority of you know how to pronounce TUI now, seeing as Thompson has changed to TUI. If you don't know us, well, I've already said it. TUI is how you pronounce it, and the palm trees in the background should provide a good idea as to what we sell. Coconuts. Didn't get as good reception that time. Shamelessly reusing jokes. Anyway, my name's Ed. I'm on the analytics graduate scheme, just starting my second year at TUI. And I'll just take the next 15 minutes talking about what life is like at TUI, why it's an exciting time to be working for them, and also what analytics is involved at TUI. And then we'll provide a short case study on a project that I worked on whilst in customer analytics called the value of NPS. Don't worry if you don't know what NPS is, we'll talk about that later and I'll explain later. So, about me. You're probably wondering why there's a whole load of crayons up there on the screen. That's because I'm a geography graduate, master of colouring in. Having said that, my favourite part of geography was the analysis side, using data to solve real-world problems. So, given that, I decided I wanted to work in an analytical role. I also wanted to work in an industry that I was passionate about. I really am passionate about going on holiday. So I saw the analytics graduate scheme at TUI and I thought, that's the one for me. And ever since, I haven't really looked back. So moving on to bigger things, TUI. So TUI are the largest travel and tourism company in the world. We have businesses all around the world, so Canada, France, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, to name a few. And over the past year or two, all the businesses have been aligning in terms of the TUI brand name. So all of them have been changing from their local brand name to TUI. The UK was, being the largest source market, changed last so we could learn all the lessons from the other source markets so we can make sure it went fully right. And in October, Thompson changed to TUI. So it's an exciting time to be working for TUI because now TUI is a truly global brand. Think what Amazon is to online shopping, what Microsoft and Apple are to technology. Our aim is to become that for travel. Also, with change comes uncertainty. And that means there's a lot of problems to dig our teeth into, a lot of analytics that needs to be done. So it's an exciting time for analytics at TUI. So we've got a question. Do you all have the app? For those of you who have downloaded the app, if you take it out now, this should pop up on your screen. So the question is, how many times did the average person in the UK see the TUI name change campaign? Was it 6, 12, or 24? I feel a little bit like Chris Tarrant here.
I'll have £1 million, please.
So it looks like we've got one answer for 6. Is there anyone else? Is it not working? There we go. Okay, so we've got 2 for 24. So the last group actually got this wrong, so see if you're smarter than them. So we think 12. Has everyone voted that has the chance? Okay, well, in fact, it is 24. So if at the start of the presentation you were like, actually, I don't know who TUI are, well, you've been spending too much time in the library because it has been absolutely everywhere. You should have seen it 24 times. There we go. Assume there's a bus that's just arrived. So analytics at TUI, back to analytics. So I'm going to talk to you about the 3 main rotations that are on the graduate scheme at TUI, partly because I'm more familiar with them because I'm on the graduate scheme, and partly because they're the biggest analytics areas in the company. So firstly, we have customer analytics. Customer analytics looks at all things to do with the customer. They use our vast customer database to analyse Who really is our customer? How's perhaps our demographic changing with the name change, for example? There's all sorts of questions that customer answer. Also, we have digital analytics, and digital analytics focus on the website. So, sort of questions that we answer here are, how can we optimize our website to maximize conversion? Conversion being converting people from visiting the website to actually going through to booking. One of the elements of this is A/B testing. Is anyone aware of what A/B testing is? Got one or two nods. So A/B testing is where we have two variants. So we roll out one variant to the website, so let's say 20% of the visitors, and we do significance testing. So we can understand, is that change increasing conversion? And small things such as changing the colour of the book button really does make a big impact. So should the book button be yellow or red, for example? And we use significance testing to understand if this really does have an impact on conversion. And then thirdly, we've got commercial analytics. So this is one I'm slightly less familiar with because I've not done my rotation there. But commercial analytics looks at our yield management system. So they work closely with trading and they make sure that the logic's working as it should and that we're really optimizing the way that system's working. With such a vast array of analytical problems, it requires a lot of tools. So to take a couple of examples, for example, we have SQL, which is a querying language. This is the querying language that we use to extract data from our customer database. Adobe Analytics is a website, so all our web data is on Adobe Analytics. And alongside that, we use Decibel Insight. So Adobe Analytics, on Adobe Analytics, you might see there's people that are stopping progressing through the book flow at a certain point. So let's say they're at the flight details page and we have a lot of people dropping off the website at that point. We can then go to Decibel Insight to watch session replays of people that are getting to this page and then not progressing. So if you go on the website now, we'll be able to see your replay, your session replay, where you're scrolling, where you're clicking. So that's a really interesting tool to use and really useful tool to use as well. We have R as well, so I'm sure the majority of you are familiar with R. That's what we use for all our predictive side. So let's say propensity modeling and various other things. Then we have Alteryx, which is great for joining different databases, for example. It's a good data manipulation tool, and Tableau. So Tableau isn't for analytics, it's more for the visualizing. But visualizing is really important because if you can't communicate your data particularly well, then they're not going to receive the point. So Tableau's a really good tool for that. So going in a little deeper into analytics, I'll talk you through the value of NPS project that I worked on a few months ago. To provide a bit of context, we send out a CSQ to all our customers when they return from holiday. So a CSQ is a customer satisfaction questionnaire. And this is to gather feedback. And one of the questions on there that we ask is called the NPS question, the Net Promoter Score question. And that is, how likely are you to recommend TUI to friends, family, colleagues on a scale of 0 to 10? 0 being extremely unlikely, 10 being extremely likely. In terms of why this is important, it's one of our KPIs. So one of our key performance indicators is NPS to measure customer satisfaction. So it's important to understand if we increase our target, what is the commercial impact on that? Or if we miss our target by, let's say, 2%, what's the commercial impact of that? On top of that, our customer experience team, they have a lot of projects that they want to put forward to manage our detractors. So those who give 0 to 6, they're called detractors on this question. 7s and 8s are neutrals, and 9s and 10s are promoters. So they've got a lot of projects to manage those detractors who give really low scores to try and make them that little bit happier and make up for what may have been, unfortunately, a bad experience for them on holiday. And what all this comes down to is that there's a real drive in the business to put the customer at the centre of all our decisions. And this provides the commercial backing for that. It shows that actually, if we put the customer at the centre of all our decisions, that will have a positive influence, not only for our customers, but also for the bottom line as well. So when approaching this project, I had to understand what the financial value. I should explain what I mean by the financial value of NPS to start with. So if someone gives a 10, what's their financial value that they're bringing to the company? Whereas if they give a 0, then what financial value are they detracting from the company? So embedded in the question that we answered, the NPS question, the first component I identified was word of mouth value. So are people actually going and telling their friends they should book with TUI or they shouldn't book with TUI? So this could be face-to-face, online reviews as well. Are people posting online reviews saying we're absolute rubbish or they had a really good experience with us? And also social media. In the past 10 years, social media has become really big. So are people posting Instagrams about how good a time they're having on holiday, or are they posting an Instagram of a pile of turd in the lobby way or something like that? Unfortunate, hopefully not the second one. On top of that, we have repeat value. So repeat value is how likely are they to come back based on their NPS score. So we look at the how likely side and also the value of that repeat holiday. So what's the value of their subsequent booking comparative to their original booking? Are they spending more with us? Are they spending less? And what we did tend to see actually is that the people who tended to give 9s and 10s, they paid less for their holiday and they were more likely to spend more. Whereas those who gave really low NPS scores, they're the ones who had paid a lot for their holiday in the first place, so they had really high expectations. So potentially if one thing goes wrong, then they're going to be extremely unhappy about that. And thirdly, fairly simple one, the cost of compensation. You'd expect those who give low scores are more likely to claim compensation. So all those three add up to create our financial value of NPS. So we have a financial value for each individual score. So I can't go over every single element of this model, unfortunately, due to time constraints, but I'll go over face-to-face referrals and how we work this out. So it required constructing a survey and sending it out to our customers to understand what was their actual behaviour when they got back from holiday. So what we saw was that of those who gave 10, 80% of them actually went and encouraged friends and family to book a TUI holiday. On the other end of the spectrum, we can see that around 60% of those who gave 0, they went and discouraged their friends and family from booking a holiday with us. So it's good that the 10s are giving 80%, but then on the other end of the spectrum, it's slightly worrying that there are a high proportion of people that are spreading negative word of mouth. Then we want to gauge the reach of these people's face-to-face referrals. What we can see here and what we found out from the survey was that those detractors who were really negative about us ended up telling more people if they did go and tell their friends and family not to book with us. Whereas those who did encourage, they didn't quite encourage so many people. So we've understood their behaviour, but what we wanted to understand next was, let's say I tell one of you, or I tell all of you, you should go book a TUI holiday. It doesn't necessarily mean you'll actually all go and book a TUI holiday. So I wanted to understand what percentage of people actually do go and book given these referrals. So for every 100 positive referrals, we saw that 11 people, it would convert to about 11 additional bookings. On the other end of the spectrum, it's quite tough to understand how many people aren't booking with us because we can't send a survey to those people that aren't booking with us as they're not on our database. So what I had to do here was look at some empirical research which stated that negative information is 4 times more powerful than positive information. So we've multiplied that conversion factor by 4 to get 43%. And then multiplying them all together, we can see the number of customers acquired per promoter, neutral or detractor based on their score. So those who give a 10, so for every customer who gives a 10, they're likely to attract 0.6 additional bookings to TUI. So that's really positive for us. And that's a really good thing for us. On the other end of the spectrum, those who give 0, they're detracting 2.6 customers from booking with us. And that's slightly worrying. It shows that those people who had a bad time on holiday, they're really influential to their friends and family in terms of word of mouth. So skipping a few steps, this is the final model. Unfortunately, I can't show you the financial value because of the commercial sensitivity of the data, but what you can see is the general trend. There's a huge skew towards the lower end of the spectrum. So those who are giving low scores are having a big detrimental financial impact to the company. What we can also see is that the face-to-face referrals are really important in this aspect. So I hope that's provided you with a little bit of a taster of analytics at TUI. Do email me if you have any questions, or pop out to see us at the stand. We're the ones with lots of inflatables. You can't really miss us. But thank you very much.